tap into every hour. We have about 70 women who induce abortion every hour. In 2012, about 11 women who were hospitalized, and about 3 women dying every day from abortion complications. Okay? Now, the Good Mother Institute is saying that with the rising population, there's also an increase directly proportionally of women who induce abortion. Okay. So now we talk about ethics, professional ethics, public health, human rights. Okay? So the role of the doctor is a medical provider. You are not police officers. Therefore, you should follow the Hippocratic Oath, which is first do no harm, right? Confidentiality is part of professional ethics. And then I would cite former DOH Health Secretary Romales, who used to say that abortion is a medical issue and it's not a moral issue. We're saying that because of the number of women who are affected by this, it's a public health issue. It's a third leading cause of maternal death. It's a leading cause of hospitalization. And then the reasons are so varied. First, you have economic. If the woman would say that it's too soon or inability to support another child, that's about 75%. Okay? Young age, younger than 25 years old, you have about 46% of the women. Health reasons, 1/3. Okay? For rape survivors, it's actually 13%. 13% is just about 1 out of every 9 women inducing abortion are actually rape victim survivors. Other reasons, maybe because of study. There's one woman who died recently. She was an OFW. She wanted to go back to her employer but couldn't without terminating the pregnancy. And because it was an unsafe pregnancy with pursue, she died. It was done in a hotel. She was bleeding and then died. Okay. So here we're saying that it's a violation of women's rights, not being able to access post-abortion care at the very minimum, and of course, even safe abortion. We have laws such as 8344, that's regarding emergency care. You have the Magna Carta of Women, you have the RH law, you have the Medical Act, among others. So basically, if we translate humane, non-judgmental, compassionate care, in Tagalog, I would say it's simply malasakit, pagmamalasakit sa isang babaeng dumaranas ng post-abortion complications. Okay, so 8344, the duty, of course, is to stabilize the patient. If not, there's liability below 6 years. Okay, if it's a hospital policy, higher penalties for the hospital officials. 9710, the Magna Carta, basically says that pregnancy complications should be managed, and the WHO basically says that pregnancy complications would include childbirth and abortion. Okay? The RH law basically provides for humane, non-judgmental, compassionate care. The Medical Act, I'm surprised that I hear a lawyer before who teaches in some schools saying that a doctor can refuse any medical treatment for whatever reason. That's not actually true. Because a doctor can only validly refuse if there's danger to the life of the doctor, right? So for emergency care, basically you cannot refuse. Thank you. You have PD 169, okay, which does not apply to post-abortion care. Why? Because specifically this talks about less serious and serious physical injuries. Under the revised penal code, this will be committed by someone against another person. So this basically cannot be imposed, for example, on a woman, right? If she induced it herself, etc., etc. Okay? So, any violation of confidentiality is a breach of professional ethics. It's a violation of the woman's right. Okay? So, we actually placed this one, the confidentiality, etc., in the 2016 version of the post-abortion care policy of the DOH. And prior to that, there was already 2000 policy. Are you aware of that? That there was a 2000 policy on post-abortion care? Okay. Okay, and then we made a 2016 covering also the laws, basically, that would ensure access to post-abortion care. Unfortunately, in 2018, most of the express provisions were taken out. But because I mentioned existing laws, these are still existing. Okay? So even without the express provisions in the 2018 version, you can still use the 2016 version because it talks about the existing national laws. You also have the POGS mention, which actually already talks about the 6 signal functions, which includes removal of the products of consumption. Okay? You have global liberalization of abortion laws. 85% of countries now provide safe abortion. Over 30 countries in the last 2 decades have actually liberalized their laws. Okay? You have UN recommendations, for example, the Committee on Elimination of Discrimination of Women, the one that monitors the implementation of the Women's Convention. Okay? In 2006, they already recommended for removal of the punitive provisions on abortion. In 2015, with the inquiry that we did here in the Philippines together with the CEDAW experts, they repeated their recommendations in 2016 as well. And in 2018, we went to Geneva, basically to talk about issues related to reproductive rights and gender-based violence, and because of the duty of the Philippine government to make abortion legal in the Philippines. Why make it legal? Because women die from lack of access to safe abortion and lack of access to post-abortion care. Okay? Okay, so freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. Under the Supreme Court ruling of the RH law, basically medical providers cannot refuse emergency care, regardless of any conscientious objection. Okay? So, conscientious objection will not occur. Okay? So this basically I call religious refusal. Okay? So there's freedom to believe, and that's absolute. You may believe whatever you want, and that's absolute. But freedom to act, as regards post-abortion care, you can face life. Okay? So, WHO safe guidance, please read that. Ever since 2003, there was one already. It was repeated in 2012, basically setting forth the clinical guidelines on that. And then the removal of the legal restrictions, actually, they're saying that this would reduce maternal mortality on unsafe abortion and an overall maternal mortality reduction. Okay? There's also the FIGO ethical guidelines. And basically, you have even provision of access to abortion where legal, 2012, and then also for post-abortion complications, and then wider access for practitioners actually to advocate for wider access to safe abortion. Okay, so that's part of FIGO. FIGO also ethical guidelines on safe abortion. There's a lot, and then soon there would be FIGO guidelines on post-abortion care. Hopefully, so we're helping with that as well. Okay. So, unfortunately, it's not just women who induce abortion, as we know, who suffer from discrimination, stigma, being denied access to even post-abortion care, turned away by hospitals. The women who actually suffer from complications from spontaneous abortion, traumatic abortion, fetal death are turned away or delayed treatment. Okay, so we do not want this to happen. Okay. So, whether this is natural abortion, spontaneous, miscarriage, incomplete abortion, missed abortion, intrauterine fetal death, or induced abortion, what we're saying is that all these women need emergency care. Okay? All they need, whether it's vacuum aspiration, whether it's evacuation, they need the care. Otherwise, they would die. Okay? Okay. So the legal restriction on abortion, I have to discuss this because if this will help you provide safe post-abortion care. One is that the legal restriction on abortion has never decreased the number of women inducing abortion. Okay, it only makes it dangerous for women, so that's why a lot of Filipino women die. Okay, it adds to the judgment. It leads to denial of access to services. Okay, prosecution of women And the doctors, that is not the answer. Okay? If you're being prosecuted for that, you can look for me. Okay? So, revised penal code is actually colonial law. It was adopted from the old Spanish penal code of 1870. No one of us were alive then. Okay? So it was adopted in 1930. Okay? So, even the Constitution, we should be popularizing a liberal interpretation. Even Father Bernas, who is a priest, has said that abortion is allowed to save the life of the mother. Okay? So the unborn does not have legal personality, because legal personality only attaches upon birth. And the right of a pregnant woman actually prevails over the life of the unborn, whether you call it fetus, etc., blastocyst, etc., whatever gestational stage. Okay? So just to tell you that there have been other countries with the same constitutional prenatal protection of the life of the unborn from conception, but they all allow safe abortion. And these are these countries. Okay? Ireland is in brackets because they recently amended that. Okay? Last week. So for medical reasons, it can be health life risks. For example, molar and ectopic pregnancies, yes, you can call that abortion. Malignant disease, when a woman's life is threatened by other serious diseases. Okay? Incest, rape, severe malformation. You have 1961 Supreme Court ruling saying that therapeutic abortion is allowed for medical necessity. So if you do that, you face some kind of case, you can look for me again. Okay? So, some recommendations. Day 1 of the ob-gyne residency of the Davao Regional Medical Center, they teach manual vacuum aspiration. Okay? And then for post-abortion care, many of the doctors who were part of our briefings already recommended for post-abortion care to be part of the ob-gyne certification, residency requirements, and then oral and written tests. Surprise! And then to be part of the nursing and midwifery schools. And then some hospitals' policies have come up protecting post-abortion care and even for medical reasons. Okay? And then we hope to be in partnership with some of you here and then POGS on trainings and policy drafting even on at the very least post-abortion care. Okay? So there's global liberalization. For some of the countries, they have had UN recommendations, and ever since 2002, they all liberalized them, okay? Unlike the Philippines. Okay? These are some of the former Spanish colonies, and they have all liberalized their laws on abortion. Okay? These are the new predominantly Catholic countries that have recently liberalized their laws on abortion: Ireland, Chile, Argentina. So Spain, these are predominantly Catholic countries. Spain, where we adopted the restricted provision, it's legal. Belgium, France, Italy, Hungary, Mexico, Portugal, Poland, Colombia. So we can't really say that for those who are Catholics that they're more Catholic than we are, okay? Or we're more Catholic than they are, okay? So these are other predominantly Catholic countries in Asia and then predominantly Muslim countries that all allow safe abortion in Asia, okay? And then because of the issue of what is an abortifacient, and now we have had problems with even re-registering contraceptives, right? And then now, because that has been lifted, okay, we also have the problem of cytotec being registered, right? And cytotec, we know, cannot only be used for abortion, it can be used for induction of labor, for management of incomplete abortion, miscarriage, and prevention and treatment of postpartum hemorrhage, right? But it's not registered. And it is one of the 13 life-saving drugs cited by the UN Commission on Life-Saving Commodities. Just like emergency contraception, like Posinar, which used to be registered in the Philippines, which we hope will be registered again, and then implants, and then of course cytotec with its generic name. Okay? For ulipristal acetate, do you know that the one that's registered in the Philippines is actually being used to shrink the myoma? Okay? So some of you know. Good. Okay. So manual vacuum aspiration is registered It is PhilHealth reimbursable, 11,000. BMC, which of course we're pushing for MBA because it's speedier, less complications, right? And there's little anesthesia if needed. Okay, and then the same amount of PhilHealth. Okay, and then faster release. For example, for Davao Regional Medical Center, they release the woman after 3 hours. Okay. Okay. So these are the hospitals and other schools where we have conducted the training. Okay. Thank you.